I'm very annoyed always by these Hollywood events. These Hollywood events always annoy me because I grew up in Hollywood. And Hollywood is filled with the most self-righteous and yet despicable people that you will ever meet in your life. Hollywood is filled with people who engage in sexual harassment and abuse. In fact, Hollywood as a town was built on sexual harassment and abuse. I don't mean that figuratively. I mean that I don't mean that in an exaggerated fashion. I mean that a huge percentage of Hollywood films, a huge percentage of Hollywood starlets got their starts on the Hollywood casting couch. Virtually every major producer in town at one time or another has thrown his power around as well as his genitals. Okay, the idea that this is not the predominant mode of how casting is done in Hollywood and has been done for decades, I think is a bit of a stretch. The fact is Hollywood is pretty degenerate. It always has been on these matters, and there are a lot of women who are willing to engage with that, knowing the risks, knowing that they were going to come here and be sent to the casting couch. I've showed you in the past films that make open jokes about this. All About Eve. There's some open jokes about Marilyn Monroe using the casting couch. Okay, this is not something that is brand new from Hollywood. Well, Hollywood suddenly gets hit for it, and suddenly everyone's very surprised. And not only that, they're there to virtue signal. It's just great. They're there to come along and signal to you not only that they are wonderful leftists, but also that they are just shocked by and appalled by what's happened in Hollywood. They're here to joke about all of the terrible things they've done. As I said at the top of the show, it's like watching NFL executives joke about concussions or Penn State executives joke about pedophilia. You can't do this, okay? Hollywood has an entire event dedicated to patting itself on the back for how much it's standing up to the sexual harassment scandal that's happening in its own industry and to which many of the people who were testifying last night were party in the first place. Okay, we'll go through all of this, but let's start with Seth Meyers' opening monologue. So Seth Meyers begins by slapping Hollywood, and then, of course, he has his obligatory slams against Trump. He's too lazy to actually write any new jokes about Trump, so instead he just hijacks jokes that were told last year by Hugh Laurie, I believe it was the Golden Globes, about the Hollywood Foreign Press Association. Here is Seth Meyers, again, an overrated comedian who masquerades as a political thinker. Here he is doing his opening monologue.
Good evening, ladies and remaining gentlemen. There's a new era underway, and I can tell because it's been years since a white man was this nervous in Hollywood.
This is old, this is lazy, there's nothing new here. And the idea, oh, look, we're all gonna laugh now about white men being in power. We're all gonna laugh now about men being sexist. We're all gonna laugh about how men are on the run in Hollywood. Except that half this crowd cheered Roman Polanski. Half this crowd stood up and cheered Woody Allen when he won a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Golden Globe 6 years ago in 2012. Harvey Weinstein on this stage was feted as a god by Meryl Streep, who last night was talking about Me Too and Time's Up. And it's not just Seth Meyers. Obviously, Deborah Messing arrived and decided that it was time to slam E! Channel for the so-called pay gap, right? The implication being that E! Doesn't pay its female hosts enough. Deborah Messing, the multimillionaire, who's a terrible actress, by the way, and blocked me on Twitter. Not because I just called her a terrible actress, but long ago, she blocked me because I guess and said that she would cancel her subscription to the New York Times after the New York Times did a profile of me that did not rip me as a racist, because I'm not. Deborah Messing decides that now's a good time to virtue signal about the pay gap. She wasn't the only one, by the way. What's the name of the lady? What's the name of the lady from Friday Night Lights? Connie Britton. Right. So Connie Britton shows up last night wearing a shirt that says something like poverty is sexist. It said poverty is sexist. The shirt cost $380. Not a joke. $380. And after she spilled champagne on it, then it was worth $700. So well done, Connie Britton. Poverty is sexist. But she's not the only hypocrite. Here's Deborah Messing, a very, very wealthy woman, for being a garbage actress on a show that was really about the gay guy and about the shrill, high-pitched woman, and not about her at all. Here is Deborah Messing talking about the pay gap at E!
You know, I was so shocked to hear that E! doesn't believe in paying their female co-hosts the same as their male co-hosts. I mean, I miss Kat Sadler, and so we stand with her, and that's something that can change tomorrow.
So much heroism, so much strength, so much Normandy-like bravery. My God. Standing on the red carpet, wearing probably a gown worth probably several $1,000s, talking about the pay gap that obviously is just brutal for women at E!, whose entire job consists of standing alongside men at E!, both of whom talk about celebrities all day. Okay, let's be real about this. Women in the entertainment industry, in the talent side of the entertainment industry, are not getting destroyed by sexism. Okay, they are in terms of sexual harassment and sexual assault. That's a different issue. But in terms of the pay gap, okay, the idea that Natalie Portman and Jennifer Lawrence are being destroyed by sexism, or that the women at E! couldn't just go to their bosses and say, listen, either pay me more or I'll leave. Here's the thing about the free market. If you are easily replaceable, and I'm sorry to tell you this, but women at E! and men at E are probably pretty replaceable, it doesn't seem like a particularly tough job, then maybe you ought to ask for a raise less often rather than more often. I mean, if you could start an E channel, honestly, and pay everybody $30,000 a year and be staffed up the wazoo. I mean, there are people who are beautiful working at Coffee Bean every single day who would die to work for $35,000. I don't know what Coffee Bean pays, maybe it's more than that. But there are people who would die to be working on E and be on TV every day for $35,000. In any case, there's Deborah Messing complaining about that. Mary J. Blige comes out and she says, you know, in the new Me Too moment, I will kill you if you touch me. But there's something that she doesn't say, which kind of bothers me here. Here's Mary J. Blige.
Oh, I've had the fight since I was 5 years old. I haven't had anybody approach me like that since I've been in the music business. But ever since from 5 to 17, I've been going through hell with sexual harassment. So, you know, by the time I got to the music business, it was like, don't touch me. You know, oh, I'll kill you.
Okay, so first of all, that's great that she had that attitude. It's horrible what happened to her as a child. I would like to hear her name the names of the guys who tried to touch her in the music industry. Right, this is the one thing that was so shocking about last night. You watch all of this, and what you see over and over and over is that nobody's willing to name any names. Right? They're just willing to talk about broad problems, broad American sexism, broad sexual harassment, but no one's willing to name any names, which means all these guys get away with it. And half of them are in the room. Right? Half of them are in the room. Natalie Portman, I thought, was the most egregious offender last night, just in terms of being obnoxiously smug. She gets up and they're talking about the all-male directors who are nominated. Which women should have been nominated last year that I missed? Like Patty Jenkins for Wonder Woman? Who should have been nominated exactly? In any case, here's Natalie Portman suggesting and whining about all-male directors.
We are honored to be here to present the award for Best Director.
And here are the all-male nominees.
Oh, burn, Mitches. Okay, we're like, what in the world? Like, oh my God, what bravery. Stunning bravery. Natalie Portman, worth millions and millions of dollars for being not a very good actress. Yay, Natalie Portman. Oh man, she struck back against the patriarchy that time. Boom, roasted. Oh, Hollywood is so smug and so irritating. I mean, I'm famous for being smug, and they outclass me by orders of magnitude. All of this was prelude to the big story of the evening. The big story of the evening was Oprah Winfrey. Oh, Oprah. So stunning, so brave, such stunning bravery, such brave stunningery. It's so much bravery. I can't even take it. I just can't take it. In fact, it was so brave that everybody lost their mind. NBC tweeted that Oprah would be our future president. Yes, really, the network, NBC, they tweeted nothing but respect for our future president, hashtag Golden Globes. R, capital O-U-R, amazing, just amazing. Your future president is going to be a lady who is extraordinarily rich, very good at connecting with audiences, and who is famous for vacillating in her weight for years and years. That's just great. I mean, honestly, we don't get to complain about reality TV stars and self-made billionaires being president of the United States, because the president of the United States is those things, right? And then brags about them on Twitter. Don't worry, we'll get to that in a little bit. But she was just so incredible last night. She got up there and she finally spoke truth to power. Sure, there are tons of pictures of her kissing Harvey Weinstein. Sure, there's an actress who back in November alleged that she fell into Harvey Weinstein's trap because she saw Oprah hanging out with Harvey and figured Harvey must be a good guy. Sure, Oprah Winfrey existed in this town for 30 years, making oodles of cash, becoming the most powerful woman in media, the queen of all media, and never had one word to say about sexual harassment and assault in Hollywood. Sure, all of that's true, but the bravery, the stunningness McBravery. Just shocking, just stunning. Reese Witherspoon tweeted out in the midst of all of this that Oprah Winfrey, that she was now going to date time differently. She tweeted, quote, "I will now officially divide time like this. Everything that happened before Oprah's speech, everything that will happen after." My God, it's just like Jesus. It'll be B-O and A-O. Before Oprah and after Oprah. Just incredible. Things have changed. Can't you feel the change in the air? Can't you feel all the men backing away from the sexual harassment and abuse because Oprah Winfrey got up and said some vague words? I do. I feel like everything changed last night. Now, to be fair, Oprah's really good at this, right? Oprah's actually a very good speaker. She's very talented. She's quite a good actress. She's very good at connecting with audiences. We've known all this for years. She gets up. Chris Chaliza at CNN said, you could have heard her giving this speech in Iowa. You can almost imagine her running for president. Ugh! Have we learned nothing, people? Nothing. Right? The entire media that suggests that inexperience is bad, that we don't need somebody with no policy, that we don't need somebody who doesn't know what the hell they're doing at the head of government. And they're like, you know what we need? Oprah. Yeah, solid move. Okay, so she gave this speech, and everyone is just over the moon about this speech. It's just great. She gets up there and she finally says enough. She, Oprah, the queen of all media, finally says enough is enough. Now, do I think that's anything special? No, because I was under the impression that we all felt this way, right? I mean, everybody showed up to the Golden Globes last night wearing black. It was a classier Golden Globes than we've had in years. And it wasn't people dressed like Lady Gaga breaking out of an egg at the Golden Globes red carpet. Everybody just looked like it was the 1950s, and they were wearing black dresses. Actually, everybody kind of looked classy. Maybe this should be the going rule there from now on. But, you know, and everybody shows up and they're talking about Time's Up and Me Too, and everybody's trying to back away slowly from anyone who is remotely associated from Harvey Weinstein and Kevin Spacey. And so I'm not sure what was so groundbreaking about all this, except that people want Oprah to run for president. They were talking about this back in March. And I'll go through it in a few minutes, whether Oprah could actually win when she runs for president. But first I want to go through the speech because it's been treated as just grand and glorious because she finally stood up for all the victimized women throughout history